Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of 18-year-old Corinna Slusser, who disappeared on September 20th of 2017. She was expected to come back home to Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Her mother was expecting her. Her mother had gone to the funeral of, I'm assuming, her father, so Corinna's grandfather, which was in Florida. And Corinna had said over the phone that she was going to come back to Bloomsburg from New York and arrive on the 20th. She had wanted to go fly out to Florida for the funeral, but she couldn't because her IDs were missing. And so instead she was going to come back to Bloomsburg, probably by car or bus. They had had contact with her by a phone, but she never arrived at Bloomsburg. She was last seen earlier that morning, leaving the Haven Motel on Woodhaven Boulevard by 68th Avenue in the Ridgewood Park neighborhood of Queens, New York. And she had been very active on social media prior to her disappearance, but after September 20th, all of her posts stopped. Now, how did she get in New York? In 2017, during that summer, she met a man called Giovanni Peguero, who told her that he could give her a place to stay in New York. And when she went there, all she took was her cell phone and ID, didn't even bring any clothes. She did stay in touch with her family, contacting them on a nearly daily basis, claiming that everything was going well. And it wasn't until after she disappeared that her family found out that she had actually been working as a lady of the night, advertising on the internet to get clients. Now, before her disappearance, she had actually called the police on August 25th on her then pimp Peguero, claiming that he had taken $300 from her, and when she had confronted him about it, he had gotten physically violent with her. And when her family found out about that, she downplayed the event and told them there was nothing to worry about. Sometime after that, she changed pimps. She was in the care, quote-unquote, of Ishi Colin Woney, who was also charged later with trafficking a woman named only as Victim 1. Now, between September 10th and September 20th, Corinna and Woney exchanged 800 text messages because they reportedly had an argument because Victim 1, this other woman, was upset about his relationship with Corinna. And ultimately, Woney over text message said that he would take Corinna to another hotel and give her to another man. Now, whether he actually did any of that is not clear, but she was never seen again after that. Now, Woney was, of course, in court due to the trafficking allegations of Victim 1. And in May 2019, he reached a plea agreement with the prosecution, pleading guilty to 4 to 5 charges against him. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. And at the sentencing, Corinna's mother was present, and she asked him where Corinna was and if she was alive. To which Woney replied, "Honestly, I don't know. I never passed her off to anybody. Is she dead or alive? I'm honestly not sure, but I pray she's alive." And that's basically all the information we have on her at the moment. To this day, as far as I can tell, no physical remains have been found. So she could still be out there, last seen in Queens, New York. So though it may seem likely what happened, we don't know for sure, and that is why I was asked to do a reading on this case. We're going to start off with the Terra Mucha, which is already on the table. And for any further questions, moving on to the Tarot of the New Vision, which is this one. As per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck. As soon as I have about a table full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, we're starting off with almost a royal flush there on the top row, because we have here the King of Swords in reverse, you have the King of Cups upright, you have the Fool in reverse, but then we have the Queen of Wands upright, the Queen of Swords in reverse, and the King of Wands upright. So we have, what is this, 5 royals and the Fool. Alright, that's an interesting combination over here. So let's take a look then, because we have, I think, a lot of people involved in this somehow. Like, there are multiple parties that are kind of coming together for this one event, it seems, or they're at least involved in this event, either from a distance or up close. We have some people who are not telling the truth, but do have a certain position within that community, I suppose you would call it. And in a similar vein, somebody who is very emotionally aware, possibly a very good motivator. So maybe they were the people or the person to bring people together somehow. Now, I feel like this Fool card here is representing Corinna, and she was not going in there with her eyes wide shut, so to speak. She was definitely keeping her eyes open, aware that there may be something at work here. So maybe this is one person whom is both convincing in an emotional manner, but also has some type of agenda that is currently still hidden. We have Corinna walking into it with her eyes open so that she does not get fooled too easily. And possibly this is also her right here with the Queen of Wands upright, like she wanted something out of this, whatever this meeting was going to be, and she had some willful ideas about that. And then we have here the Queen of Swords in reverse and a King of Wands. So either these are more people, or this is more of this person or these people right here, because she went out to meet them, it seems, with her own plans, and then encountered a Queen of Swords in reverse rather than a King of Swords. Similar energy, but perhaps more, I guess, charming, perhaps, because it is the Queen here rather than the King, who can also be charming, but I think the Queen, of course, has a certain natural charm about her anyway, but also a very cold, calculating person, so she encountered some of that, along with somebody who was very willful and possibly out-wanted her, so to speak. Like, she had certain wants and needs that she wanted out of this arrangement, and somebody came and trumped those wants and needs with their King of Wands energy, which, of course, is a step higher in the deck than the Queen energy, and that's just the hierarchy within the deck, so to speak. So they were, I guess she was trying to be prepared, but the level that these people are on is more than she was able to prepare for, it seems like, with this first row right here. Then on the second row we have the Two of Wands in reverse, wanting to make plans to go places but being unable to do so. We have here Page of Swords also in reverse, so maybe we're trying to lie our way out of things or misrepresent things to try and get out of there somehow. We have here a conflict, the Five of Wands. Normally it would be like a bit of a, like I usually say sparring, but it could also just be people kind of picking on each other for fun if it were upright, trying to test each other's mettle a little bit without actually meaning to hurt or anything like that. But it's in reverse, so it could be that either she's struggling internally with something, or that the sparring, quote unquote, was meant to be anything other than friendly. So there is that going on. She's not able to go anywhere. She's trying to, I guess, say whatever it is that she thinks needs to say in order to get out of there what she wants. But we are looking over here with the Nine of Cups in reverse at a negative outcome of that. And it seems as though she is being, or has been led astray and has been cheated with this Seven of Swords, possibly by this Hierophant person. So somebody, I'm guessing, who is out-trumping her or outclassing or has some type of sway over people, possibly in that group of people that she was in, that subculture, I guess, who had more of a say than anybody else there. So they basically just decided for her what the next step was going to be, it seems as though, and she was definitely not happy about that at all. I'm guessing this is also the moment where she realizes the ruse and how she probably wasn't able to do anything about it, that she was definitely lied to quite an extent here. Let's go on to the New Vision deck, which is a tarot deck which has the opposite sides of every card represented. Let's see what we can get. So she has come to some place. I feel like she's not able to go anywhere. In any case, she can't leave. And she finds that she has been had. Now let's see what happens next. We have a couple of cards here, alright. 3 cards. We have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. We have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. And we have the Ace of Pentacles also in reverse. Alright, so everything's in reverse right now. It appears to be a lot of Pentacle energy here. A lot of loss is being experienced here. A lot of things that she probably thought that she had some type of entitlement to. Because of the 10 of Pentacles normally is like an inheritance. There's somebody sitting in the background there with a gray beard and a dog, and they're usually the benefactor of the young family that's standing by the door. Now we're looking at it from the door side with the new, I guess, man of the house talking to his young family about what's happening next. So I'm guessing she thought that she was going to inherit something. Or, well, maybe not literally inherit something, but like she thought that there was a certain future there, that she could maybe rise in ranks somehow, or something was going to happen, and that turned out not to happen at all. And now she's looking at a very bleak future where she can't do anything really. This is the inside of the house that's normally seen from the outside, where somebody's sitting in the snow and feeling dejected. And on the inside of the house, we see somebody who has lost a leg and is supposedly also taking care of a child, but they don't really have much resource to do that either. So I feel like she felt like she had nothing left at that moment. Like, even though to the outside world maybe she had everything that people might want, but the truth was much darker than that, much bleaker. And then we have here Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So the investments that were made were not to be. And the castle in the background, I guess that she may have thought she was going to be able to get someday, was no longer an option, I feel like. So let's put these guys down. So she's been cheated out of what she thought was going to be rightfully hers. And in quite a vicious manner, I'm guessing, with the first bunch of cards that we got today. Let's see what else we can get. Oh, those were supposed to go back on the stack, but they're not. Alright, we have the Queen of Swords and the Nine of Swords. Alright, so Queen of Swords, it's also interesting. I think that there is a new queen in town, because in the background of this Queen of Swords, we actually see a couple people carrying a large flat object that kind of looks like a box, and the type of box that I imagine would carry certain individuals who are no longer among us. So I'm guessing that's sort of a coffin or something. It looks as though it's a coffin. That's the impression that I got looking from this angle. Like, she may have held some type of position, like maybe because they argued for a couple of days over text, so maybe the position that she had with her pimp at the time was envied. I mean, that was also evident from the messages themselves, but this kind of seems like there's a new queen in town, and we are concerned about this. More like she's being replaced, that type of thing. That's also what we're getting over here, like the future that she thought she had is no longer there. The castle that she thought was going to be hers is no longer there. The queen whom she probably thought she was going to be is now somebody else. Somebody else is sitting in that seat, and we are very much worried about that with the Nine of Swords. Sleepless nights plaguing us, very much so. Well, I don't know if she actually spent another night, but that would have been, I guess, her feelings. It's causing a lot of anxiety. Like, she kind of already has this feeling like things are gonna go and go very badly. Like, normally you would see those swords flying and think, oh, that could also be kind of a barrier, but it's more like a barrier against people helping her from being attacked by this creature that's coming out of the darkness over there. So she was, I guess, up the creek without a paddle. Nobody could help her, and being replaced at the same time. So judging from that text conversation, it sounds more like he was not just letting her go to somebody else, she was being let go permanently. We have here the Fool in reverse. Yeah, definitely aware of what this means. They're looking at the cliff that they would normally step off of, and they're seeing the exploding volcano in the background, so they know exactly what's happening next. And I'm guessing they don't stop regardless. Like, they may not feel like they have other options or something, because normally the Fool is about to step off of the ledge, and the position of this Fool suggests that they're still going to do that, but they know that there's trouble ahead, so it's kind of like she has no choice but to head into whatever chaos and destruction that is. Alright, we have some cards that fell down here. First of all, we had Judgment in reverse. So no judgment day for her, no relief. I feel like this is what this is, because particularly we're looking at the back of the angel who has done their work. They've put their trumpet down, and I feel like they are no longer... All the birds are flying toward them. Like there's a stream of white birds flying up and a stream of dark birds flying down. Not entirely sure what that means. Like, on the one hand, you got people who got rescued, I suppose, and on the other hand, we got people who got left behind, which is also, I think, one of the themes of Judgment Day type of thing. Like, there's people who have been good souls, and they're going to get brought up into heaven, and the people that are not, they're just going to have to figure out what happens next for them. But it's probably not going to be good. So I feel like we're also looking at some water over here. I said earlier, up the creek without a paddle, but they do appear to be floating in boxes in this case, so I feel like they are very much left to their own devices, so just gonna have to take care of themselves. And then we have this stack over here, about 6 cards. Yeah, 6 cards. We have the Moon in reverse, and it looks as though there's somebody coming out of the water. That's interesting. I've not seen that before. And again, we got more birds over here. So somebody whom is coming out of the water with a knife. Looks as though they have sort of a knife there, so they are almost like an assassin or something. Like, they are not looking to be very positive, and they appear to be sneaking up on people, even though they're coming out of the water in a very unusual manner. So maybe there are hidden things taking place in the background, carried out by people who are also shielded from the public. We have here the King of Swords. So King of Swords is out there talking to people whom are, I guess, unaware of what's going on. And we have a baby on the ground here, which kind of reminds me of the Sword of Damocles, that story. Like, there was 2 mothers with 1 baby, and they were like, it's mine, no, it's mine. And they eventually, King Solomon decided that, you know what, if neither of you is willing to give the child to the other, then you're each going to have the child, but not in the way you want. Like, that seems almost like she was kind of sacrificed in that sense. And the people over there on the other side of the throne just kind of like went along with it, because whoever this is, whoever this King of Swords is, they have some type of sway in the community that people just automatically listen to whatever it is they decide. We have the King of Wands here as well, so there may be several people involved. And again, the kings are back. We are looking at more royalty, I think, in the background as well. What is this? No, these are the 9, this is the 2. Okay, so you have more royalty here. We have the King of Wands, who was here earlier as well. And the King of Swords was here, his first card actually that we drew, so that one's here as well. And the King of Cups again. So I think there are 3 people involved in this. And they're all facing away from us and just kind of like doing their own thing. And people are just continuing with their life. We're being ignored, basically. Things go on as they always have in some way. Just looking at the back of this King of Wands is a card over here that almost looks like a combination of the 2 Cups and Strength, or the Lovers and Strength. They're not interested in that at all, but it's in the background, so maybe there's like some type of connection there that they decided to abandon. They're not looking at it anymore. Let's see, and then we have the King of Cups over here with a bunch of tools and knives in the background there, an axe as well. So they have some stuff in the background that they are capable of using to their advantage. Also, there is a net here in the water, so I'm guessing this is also the person that kept an eye out, like, on the community at large, trying to figure out if anybody knew anything, or knew too much, knew too little, or I don't know, I guess is maybe talking to other people, just kind of like keeping the net trawling to the deep in case something comes up that needs to be dealt with. Also looking over here in the top corner there, we see Noah's Ark on top of that hill over there. Not sure why that's up there. Like the Ark is far removed from water, so high and mighty, and maybe this also kind of represents society in a way that it likes to stay high and mighty and out of such situations, such cultures where people do things that average society would consider to be bad, and they just kind of don't want to know about that, so they left the ocean altogether. And this guy is kind of like looking at from their own kingdom up to them, like, oh, well, you guys, you want to use our service at some point. Like, you don't have to sit there and pretend to be holier than thou because I got your number, like that type of thing. So that is some type of kingpin person right there. They have a lot to say within this society. I'm not sure if that is her former pimp. Probably not. I think somebody who's more powerful than that. Okay. Next card that we have here is Two of Cups, which is kind of similar to what we had over here. So there is a relation over here that is being strengthened, I feel. But we're also forgetting the past. We're not looking back at that anymore. Kind of like on the one hand, we're trying to forget Corinna, and on the other hand, we're trying to create relations with new people over here, which is interesting to note. So we're just kind of sweeping everything under the rug. We are monitoring here with this net, but we're not actually trying to reference the past anymore. So this sounds a lot like she was replaced, taken care of, and then hidden and immediately forgotten by these three over here. And now we're moving on to something else, so I don't think we're going to see her back alive. It doesn't look like that in these cards anyway. I mean, we don't know for sure, but let's take a look and get some cards about if we're ever going to find her in any way, shape, or form. Moving back on to the Terra Mucha for that. Okay, we have a Ace of Wands kind of on its side, so it could be that somebody's starting an initiative and it's not necessarily the best plan ever that they could have come up with, but maybe it'll be successful, I don't know. We have a few cards here actually. Let's first put everything back kind of normal. Alright, so we have 3 or 4 cards. So we have the Six of Cups again, so somebody again trying to, I guess, call upon the past, but maybe not a good past. Maybe they're looking at other pasts here. Kind of looking at the army at the gates right there. You see a whole gray mass in the background, and they're just kind of marching on something maybe. It could be that there is an initiative taken over here for something completely different, and it is because of a remembrance of something else. Maybe some other case that has been in the public eye for a number of years that also requires attention, and that is what the initial idea is behind whatever action they're taking over here. And what else do we have here? The Five of Pentacles. Okay, 5 Pentacles, but now we're on the outside. So maybe there aren't enough resources really to get very deep into this. It could be that it's taken a while to look into these cases because there just isn't enough financial support for these things. And let's see, and then we have here the Hanged Man. This one is upright. So while we're doing this, we're looking into a certain case here. There is maybe a team of investigators that's just opening the case, or maybe a public-led effort for somebody else's missing persons case, it may be. And they haven't had a lot of money to do something big or very well organized. But while they're out there, they suddenly get a new perspective over here. And then we have the Seven of Pentacles. It's definitely not something that they had anticipated growing on their vine, so to speak. So it sounds like they're going to end up finding something about Corinna, but they were actually looking for something on somebody else. Like, that's sort of what I'm looking at here. Let's see if we can get any more cards about that. Like, are they actually going to solve the case while they're on it? This one flips. Alright, yeah, here we go. We have a surprise here with the Page of Cups. So we are investing money and time into things, and then we're like, hey, what the heck is this? Your perspective had already been gained, like maybe this is something else. And then we have this new surprise that's kind of like taking center stage. It's always very sudden with the Page of Cups, so it could be they just walk into a room somewhere and they find something that is hers, maybe. It's just something that is coming to mind. And then they're like, wait, didn't we also have a case for this other person? Alright, so we have quite a stack here. We have the Devil in reverse. Could be some type of addiction or a past addiction that is playing a role in this. And we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Somebody not spending their resources very wisely. And then we have here the Seven of Wands, somebody coming for their position, and a King of Cups, only really looking at our own emotions. It could be that somebody is going to get involved in this case, and they don't really want to get involved because they are kind of like trying to leave a past behind them. Like over here, I think that they are going to be pulled into this case, and they'll be like, oh no, that is so far behind me, I don't really want to be associated with that anymore, that's not me anymore, I've changed my life, I've cleaned up, and I really don't want to be brought back into this, like that type of thing. And they're going to maybe hold everything off because they don't want them, their own emotions basically hurt, or to be disadvantaged by other people possibly figuring something out. And as I was shuffling for these cards, I kept thinking of this YouTube series that I used to watch regularly called Another Dirty Room. I think it's from Dan Bell. And they would go to hotels, motels, like the cheap Super 8 type stuff, and they would check the entire room out, basically just to see how clean it was. But they would also often find paraphernalia for all sorts of illicit activities. And I'm guessing it's going to be something like that, until they just kind of find something that makes you go, hey, wait a second, maybe this is, well, not that show in particular, but whoever is doing this investigation may suddenly find something that goes, wait, this is interesting, it's not what we want, but it is interesting, we should probably dig into it. And then they find the person who's connected to that, and they're like, no, 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 I don't do that anymore. Like that type of situation, I feel. So let's see what else we can get. Are we going to get a result out of this, regardless of how this person is feeling about being involved after all these years? Although it hasn't been too long, she disappeared in 2017, so... Okay. Temperance. Alright, so they may eventually change their mind about things. And then we have the Two of Swords, but we are kind of stuck in a certain mindset. This kind of strikes me as the people that are doing this case, trying to approach them slowly and trying to be as understanding as possible. And then this other person is like, actually, no, there really isn't much else I can do. Now, it could be that this could be a, oh yeah, well, I guess I have no choice but to tell the truth. Or it could be, no, I can't do that because there's too much writing on it for me right now to reveal all of that. Let's see if we can get any more about that. Any final cards, whether they're actually going to cooperate and help us solve the case. That one. And the Eight of Pentacles. Alright, so we're working very hard on the wrong thing. It could be that they're going to work against them. So that is not a great conclusion to have to draw. I'm thinking that they are not willing to go back to their past, but they are actually trying to, I guess, reroute other people's research efforts, maybe. At least they're working very hard on something, but it's the wrong thing. Could be that they're now being misled by this person, and that's why they're working on the wrong thing. We have the Hierophant over here, so we're also kind of looking at people that are not interested in showing their actual true colors, because we could look at this throne, we see the actual Hierophant card with them looking all Hierophant-y with the two people. And then we look behind them, and there's actually somebody there with a snake, which is not a good thing. We've got a dove as well, but it just seems like we're hiding secrets. And it's somebody from a certain high position whom is hiding secrets, and there's people working for them that are also hiding those secrets, because They're basically the same people that are also seen as admirers on the front of the card. They keep the same secrets, and they're going to continue to hold those secrets dear, because I think that this Hierophant person has quite a lot of sway over them. And there may be people who feel like they're in the right for doing what it is that they do. Alright, we have the Knave of Chalices, so we have another Page of Cups, but we're looking at the back side, so maybe this person is still going to get a surprise, something that they were not expecting and not looking forward to. And then we have these three. We have the Five of Swords, alright, so we're burning stuff down, we're having some arguments here. And we have the Knave or Page of Pentacles. We're not investing our money properly. And then we have Knight of Wands, who is charging at a caravan, which is interesting. He might be trying to attack a fairly peaceful trading caravan, which is not a great action. So possibly they may feel like they're being attacked throughout this, and they might try to attack in return, possibly because they have more resources. In any case, they're more fiery, they are more likely to react, and that is something that we can expect from this Hierophant person, to come for the people who are, from their point of view, coming for them, I guess threatening whatever thing that they've built up for themselves over the years. Maybe this person, Hierophant over here, is like a politician or something who knew something and doesn't want that past to be brought up, and has a whole bunch of people working for them to try and keep that past hidden, and that may be why there's so much trouble here, because they see their house burning down if they don't do something about it. So we can possibly expect a lot of opposition if we really want to dig further into this case. There may be some people involved who do not want you to look at what's behind the curtain. So that is what I'm seeing for Corinna Page Slusser. I hope you found that interesting. Make sure to leave a like and a comment. That really helps the channel along. If you want to subscribe, it's even better. We're trying to get to our next milestone, which I think is currently 1,500. In any case, hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.